So what's going on YouTube? You're watching Exquisite MAD. Today we're going to be talking about a subject that is kind of out there that a lot of people have questions about, and that is ceramic coatings. And if you or me or anyone should get them. Well, that's a loaded question, and we're going to be addressing this over the course of a few different lives. So first thing is a ceramic coated worth it? It's all in the eyes of the beholder and how you take care of it and what you're looking for. If you're looking for something that's completely and totally indestructible and to where you don't have to wash your car ever again or do anything to it, this is not your answer. There's nothing on the market that makes it to where you don't have to do anything to your car at all. So as far as paint wise and aesthetically. So getting straight into this, as we can see, I have two screens here, so I'm looking at two different places. So, as we can see here, ceramic coating, when you should not ceramic coat, or when you should, when you type into Google, should you ceramic coat a classic car, for instance, it comes up with the first thing, ceramic coatings make the vehicle far easier to maintain and prep for shows and meets and stuff like that. That's a basic description. What we're going to be getting into is more of the matter of facts. So, understanding what a ceramic coating is and what it isn't. A ceramic coating is almost like a permanent coating that you are putting over the top, or semi-permanent silica dioxide cut with different chemicals, which puts it into a liquid state, into a bottle, and then once it is applied, after the surface is cleaned, prepped, polished, compounded, and done whatever it has to do to make the paint as flawless as possible, as far as optically as clear as possible, then the ceramic coating is then applied. Now, when the ceramic coating is applied, as it cures, it becomes harder and harder. Now, companies say that certain ceramic coatings are harder than others and some are more durable than others. That's subjective. And some of them flat out last longer, some of them don't. But what dictates that a lot of the time is maintenance. If you don't maintain it properly, it doesn't matter what ceramic coating you put on there and what you buy into, it's going to fail on you if you don't maintain it properly and if you wash it with the wrong stuff. So that's that. So ceramic coatings make the vehicle to where it's easier to maintain as far as keeping it cleaner. It's like having a hard wax on the surface of the paint. As far as washing it, you can wash it, blow it dry with a leaf blower, and then do your touch-ups from there. I mean, it's pretty cool. But understand that a ceramic coating is not meant for every vehicle, and is not the best thing if you're looking at spending a lot of money to have a ceramic coating put on. Realize that you can't bring it through a car wash. It's not recommended. Swirls will go into the ceramic, even though the ceramic coating is a little bit more durable. Ceramic coating is not swirl proof. It is not scratch proof. It is not rock chip proof. It is not fire proof. It's none of those things. There's nothing proof on the market. And if it was, the military would have it. We wouldn't have it on the retail market, or even in the public. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of hype going around it and stuff like that. Does it look good? Yes, but understand that what makes it look good is the prep that goes behind it, and the compounding, polishing, also known as paint correction. So that's that. Now, we're going to get deeper into all those things in later lives and later videos. This will be uploaded later on. The reason why I'm doing this video is to inform you that understanding that certain vehicles can and cannot, they shouldn't be. You could do whatever you want with your vehicle unless it's something like super high-end, like a Bugatti, a Ferrari, certain models, or even a Lamborghini, or other vehicles. We're going to get into that. So would I personally ceramic coat a classic car? No, absolutely not. Because the reason being is because when you put a ceramic coating on the surface of the paint, it crystallizes and it permanently bonds to the paint, either semi-permanently or permanently. And when that happens, depending on which classic car or rare car insurance company that you have, they may or may not look at that vehicle anymore, or even in an auction house, such as some of the big auction houses out there, some of the most notably, they may not consider your car 100% original anymore because you have permanently altered the paint. You have permanently altered the paint, and that's a no-go. So that's something to keep in mind. So if you have a classic car, let's say a 1930s, all original paint. We're not talking about refurbished cars. Refurbished cars are not original. So you refurbished it, you restored it by having the paint, the body work done. The car was completely stripped, repainted. That's not original. So original is where the paint is 100% original. And in that case, you would not want to put a ceramic coating on something that is 100% original, especially if the car, let's say, is a 1930s vehicle or a one-off or anything of that nature, that it's a super rare car, and let's say it's appraised at $100,000, $150,000 plus. For instance, like a Thunderbird that I take care of, it's a 1950s Thunderbird, and it's black. Well, the thing is that with that car, if it was to be ceramic coated, it would immediately drop the value and ruin the car's value, because the insurance company and the way it was appraised was that the original was 100% original. The paint is original. And that's something just to kind of look at. Now, on the other end, if you have a vehicle that is a one-off, or let's say a Lamborghini, and it is a limited model number, let's say 1 of 10, 1 of 5, 1 of 20, anything of that, anything down that lane. You don't want to ceramic coat that. You want it to stay original. You would want to go with something like a wax or even a sealant. But there are specific waxes that are made for specific vehicles that are recommended for certain things. Clearly, you wouldn't put a $30 wax on a $1 million car. You just wouldn't do that. And some of these vehicles are not just made with simple paint. Every paint system is different. All the materials are different. If you're dealing with a car from the 1930s, you're no longer dealing with regular paint. You're dealing with lacquer. You're dealing with nickel, platinum trim. You could be dealing with nickel trim. You could be dealing with a lot of off-the-wall things, enamels, stuff like that. That has nothing to do with the detailing space, and it has nothing to do with the typical realm of detailing products. Now you're into something else completely different. So putting a ceramic coating, for instance, on wood, it's not really a recommended thing. I wouldn't recommend it. Regardless, me personally, I wouldn't do it. So that's my personal opinion. But when you're dealing with, let's say, 1950s or 1950s Woodies, for instance, a Ford Woody, the way that the wood would actually expand is by washing the vehicle, and the wood would actually expand. Well, some of that wood is just super old. I mean, you're not going to put a ceramic coating over wood, regardless of what these different companies say. You're just not going to do it, especially if it's an all original vehicle. So on the other end, talking about this, if you're dealing with a certain vehicle and you're the owner of a certain vehicle, this is directed to you. If you own a Bugatti, which I know that I have a few people that are on the page that do own them, and also Costanegs and also Paganis. You do not, as you know, put a ceramic coating, and if you do not know, and if you're a new viewer, you do not put a ceramic coating on that car, because as you know, those companies, and as for other people that don't know, who are watching, for instance, Bugatti goes through and I'm going to kind of give a little synopsis of this. Bugatti does not allow just anyone to purchase their car, even if you have the money. Same thing with a Ford GT. Ford is very selective on who they allow that car to be purchased by. Now, depending on the agreement that you have with whatever company, like for instance Bugatti has a lot of stipulations in there. Even if you're paying on a car and even if you own a car, if you do something that is not aligned with their brand image or their branding, you could wind up into some trouble. So just on that end, not along the maintenance of the vehicle and certain criteria and parameters that you have to be within in order to make them happy, in order to fulfill the obligations that are between both parties. So that's all public knowledge. You can look that up. You can do your research on it. So when it comes to old cars, when it comes to mid-grade cars that, that are not underneath those constraints, it's your choice, but it goes back to, okay, do you want to put something on there that's semi-permanent or permanent on a vehicle that has a limited product run and also who has a high value, and it is imperative that that vehicle stay as original as possible? In that case, no, you do not want a ceramic coating. So that's what I wanted to cover. There's also other instances where you do not want to have a ceramic coating. Again, if you're planning on getting a ceramic coating, and let's say if it was a car that you're going to regularly maintain, meaning washing it properly, drying it properly, not dogging it out, not running it through places that it shouldn't go, then a ceramic coating is great for you. It makes easy maintenance and everything else good. It makes it very, very, I guess you want to say, I guess it's less of a burden. It's less of a burden. That's a good way to put it as far as cleaning your car and trying to have to worry about waxing between every car show. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, ceramic coatings, if you have a truck that you know for a fact, or let's say a car that you're not going to take care of at all, and you're looking at trading it in 2-3 years and you want to keep it looking as good as possible, keeping in mind that you want it to look as good as possible, knowing that you're doing something with it other than doing nothing to it, because if you're not planning on doing anything to it for the entire time entire length that you have the car, it'll look better than if you would have not done anything at all, if that makes sense. So the other instance is that if you care about your vehicle at all, if you have a black car and if it's new and if you want to polish out and then ceramic coated, it makes cleaning a black car a lot easier, and also maintenance a lot easier. But does it still get water spots? Yes. Will it still get dust attracted to it? Yes, absolutely. Is it as bad? No. So that's all things that you have to keep in mind. So that is from my experience. These are my opinions as far as running a business that has been very, very successful. As far as being able to say that I've done every different vehicle, make and model imaginable, from Pagani to Bugatti on down to Lamborghinis to trucks, cars, semis, you name it. Have done it. Even old classic motorcycles. So I can say from my experience running the business, there are instances where yes, the ceramic coating looks great, it's a good deal, but if you're not going to take care of it and you plan on going through car washes and you think a ceramic coating is going to be your end all for all your maintenance and all your worries for taking care of the car, and you plan on running through the car wash and bringing it through and just not caring about it at all for months on end, it's not the answer. It's not the answer. So your answer may be having it normally just washed and waxed, every 3 months, or just having it waxed every 3 months, at the very least, or going through a car wash or something like that. Because even getting it detailed, if you're not going to take care of it, getting it detailed in any kind of sense, a mini detail car wash, or even a full-blown detail, what a true detail is, with paint correction and everything else, is a waste of money. It's a waste of money. So it may just be easier for you to go through a car wash. So, because if you get it fully detailed and then you run through a car wash, then within a couple of times going through the car wash, those swirls and everything else that you paid to have buffed out, or compounded or polished out, are going to come right back. It may even be worse than before, because then you went from it being bad to seeing it perfect or near perfect, and then seeing it bad again. You'll be very, very upset. So anyway, this is part 1. We're going to get into more stuff as far as the characteristics of ceramic coatings, what they're actually made out of, who patented the first ceramic coating, what is the contents of it, what are more the pros, cons, gimmicks, what are some of the truths. We're going to get into all that. So I hope that this video will be very informative. One thing that I want to say, ceramic coatings, a true ceramic coating needs to be put on by a professional, and even if you're not a professional, you must wear the right PPE because it is a nasty chemical. The true ceramic coatings are nasty chemicals, and it's very, very bad if you inhale them and even get them into your skin. So that's the last thing I'll say here. I appreciate everyone for watching. I hope this helps somebody out there with their decision on getting a ceramic coating. So I appreciate it. And a ceramic coating on their car. Let's be specific there. So, all right, so this is part 1. We're going to get into a lot more things, ceramic coatings, the applications, what can it be put on as far as on a vehicle besides the paint. Can it be put on anything other than the paint? We're going to get into all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned, and we'll get back to you on it. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments section down in the comment section, and we'll get back to you. So anyway, be sure to like, subscribe.